This painting is called Fall Color. It's another painting from inside of Nonotuck Park in Easthampton, looking out over at the Mount Tom Range. I've just finished the sky and I'm putting some detail into the background mountain range. I also worked from what would be the furthest thing away at the horizon and worked my way forward. Here I'm starting to work on the water. I use several shades of blue to create that effect. And I'm using a liner brush, and a large portion of it's done with a dagger brush. As I make those ripples in the water, I'm constantly brushing segments of it with a light brush. I use a cosmetic brush because it's light and feathery. Now I want it to do is just glance over and take the harshness of those wavy effects, smooth it out. As I work forward in the water, the color of those ripples get darker and darker. And I'm also using highlights as well, those going in, and eventually you'll see me working in the reflections of the trees into that black portion of the water, and some of those colors will come forward right into the blue portion of the water. I'm beginning to work on the trees, and I'm working left to right. You'll see me working with several shades of yellow. At some point I will mix up a mixture of sky, and I will break up the top of that tree and some of their trees that are above the mountain. Then I'll just work my way over doing the various shades in this picture. Every variation of color you can think of in a tree is in this picture. As I go along too, you'll see, like right now, I'm taking some of that yellow from the tree and working it right into the water for reflection. And you can see here I'm breaking up that tree, which is actually a fir tree. It's fairly open, and the same with the tree to the left of that. As I these trees, you'll notice that the block in itself is the darkest color, and then as I put the leaves in, I'm using a dark brownish yellow, and I will lighten that up till I get the highlights in there. So I may be using 5-6 various shades, and including this little section, a little bit of orange in there. Tree was mixed in shades, and I'm using a dagger for the evergreen tree, but for most of those forward trees I'm using a size 0 liner brush, very fine brush. So you really have to be patient. It works out. It looks quick here, but it's probably several hours of work. But the effect is really amazing once you finish it. As this painting moves along, you'll notice as I continue doing those trees, I continue building the reflections into the water from those trees. Some of them, like the reds and yellows right there, just caught the high portions of water fairly out, so that those colors are actually in there right along with the blue. And these trees in here are all shades of orange, reds. There's some evergreens in the background there. The highlights on the trees in the shaded side were done mostly with the dagger brush for the initial branches and clumps of leaves. And then I went to a liner brush to put more detail, at least into the sky area, to create that illusion of individual leaves. Here I'm working in some closer branches where there's some color to those leaves, even though they're in the shade. There's a hint of color there. And here I'm putting in more touches. I'm filling in some of the trees where I felt they weren't solid enough. You can see here that reflections and everything in the water has really come to life. I ended up liking this quite a bit. And here you're seeing me extend some of those reflections from the darker trees on the right side. Here I'm using a liner brush to put in the highlights here, because there's some sun that was shooting through the trees there, and it just caught enough branches to give that highlight up there. Rest of it's in dark, but you mix some very dark shades and give the illusion that you can see detail in those shadows. And that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you the next time. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe.